You might be getting some terrible advice. People might be telling you, go ahead and get a conventional loan. It's the best loan. It's the safest loan. But the truth is, it's not the loan for everybody. A conventional loan might be the very worst option for you personally. Today, in this video, I'm going to break down why going conventional might actually cost you more money, more stress, and kill your financial flexibility. As always, I'm going to share examples. I'll put it side by side, FHA versus conventional, and tell you the scenarios where it's going to make much more sense for you to get an FHA loan. Stay tuned. First and foremost, the truth about conventional loans. They have higher credit score requirements, meaning that credit score is going to factor into what interest rate you get, what mortgage insurance premium you pay. And so in a lot of cases, if you don't have a top tier credit score, your mortgage insurance, if you're putting down 3%, 5%, even 10% in some cases, is going to be higher on a conventional loan than it is on FHA loan. Another thing to consider is that the credit score is a major factor on interest rate. It also is on conventional. The higher the credit score, the better interest rate you will get, but it has a much deeper impact on an FHA loan. Before I get to even more, I'm just going to show you an example where if you've got a 640 credit score, you are going to want to really consider, this is a real life scenario, doing FHA versus conventional. And a lot of people don't know. You're getting bad advice from people that just might not know any better. Conventional loan, most common loan, you might qualify for it, right? And so they think that, okay, why not do a conventional loan? When you see this side by side from somebody who's got a 640 credit score, they've only got enough down payment to do 3 or 3.5%. It is light years better for them to go FHA. So let's take a look at it. Again, real life scenario, 640 credit score, 450 purchase price. I've got 3.5% down FHA on the left-hand side. I've got 3% down conventional on the right-hand side. I tried to make this big. Hopefully you can read it, but I will talk through it as I go. Again, this is an older quote, so rates will vary. Whenever you're watching this, rates may be different. This isn't an offer to lend, but this at one point in time was a real-life scenario where for the similar amount of cost, the 6.99% that was being offered conventional would be a 6.25% if this person went FHA, meaning at 640 credit score, FHA was 0.75% lower in rate. And if you look at the principal and interest payment across these two loans, it's almost a $200 difference on how much more you're paying conventional just because that interest rate is higher. Now, you only got to go down one line to see a massive, massive difference in mortgage insurance. Mortgage insurance for FHA, when you're putting 3.5% down, is this 0.55 factor that we have here. It's the calculation. And that's not going to change whether you've got a 620, a 640, a 680, a 720, a 780. Whereas conventional, 3% down, if you've got quote unquote challenged credit, if you've got credit that's less for any reason, right? It might be that you've made every single payment on time. You just have a higher debt load, or you don't have a long of a history of credit. Whatever the case may be, your credit is lower for whatever reason. This 640 score is going to give you a 1.27 factor on your mortgage insurance, $260, $259 more per month for the mortgage insurance. So between the higher interest rate and the higher mortgage insurance, you are paying an extra $440 a month to go conventional. So don't let anyone tell you conventional all the way. If you qualify conventional, do conventional. In this case, not even close. And when you look at, closing costs and stuff factored in here, either way, you're coming to close with about 25 grand and your payment significantly less on an FHA loan, right? There's going to be other factors. There might be some cases where you've got to go conventional because of the house. But if you have the option to go FHA versus conventional, you have to see a side-by-side. You can't just blindly go conventional because you qualify, or your uncles, cousins, brothers, sisters, mothers, nieces, next door neighbors, milkman said so. Okay? On to number 2, stricter debt to income ratios. This is something I see quite a bit too in my business, where somebody goes to apply for a conventional loan and it might not be this side by side, this one's that much better. It might be a 710 credit score. It might be that side by side conventional and FHA look fairly similar when you look at monthly payments. But stricter debt to income ratio on the conventional loan means that you're going to qualify for less. You are going to qualify for let's call it 400,000. And your debt to income ratio is capped at that 50% the conventional currently has. Well, if you can go up to 57.99% back end debt to income ratio on an FHA loan, you're going to qualify for that much more. Maybe it's 430, maybe it's 440, but it might be 8 or 10% more in purchasing power to go FHA. So take that into consideration. First-time home buyers, growing families, somebody who needs the extra 5 or 10% of purchasing power, the stricter debt to income ratios of conventional loans are going to limit you. I already kind of touched on it, but the PMI, the private mortgage insurance costs, it bears repeating. Unlike FHA, where it's 0.55% for everybody, it's risk-based on the conventional loan. So the lower your credit score, the more expensive it gets. In that case, where the $462 a month premium on a $450,000 purchase is bonkers, right? I don't wish that on anybody. On the other side of the coin, if you got an 800 credit score, it's going to be cheaper, right? So private mortgage insurance, a big consideration when you're thinking about, should I go conventional? Should I not? Conventional loans are going to have similar down payments, but to get the similar mortgage insurance, you might have to put more down. I don't think that's really a consideration, even though I think it was listed somewhere that, you can expect higher down payments. Not necessarily the case, because conventional has plenty of 3% down options for first-time home buyers. So it's not like that's going to be something. In closing, it's not always the best long-term strategy. And it's not just like everyone gets conventional, I should. 70% of loans written conventional, I should. Not the best loan for everybody. Veterans who qualify for VA should do VA. First-time home buyers with challenged credit, you look at them side by side, should probably go FHA. So know all your options. Don't just step into it saying, I'm going to do a conventional loan, because I've heard conventional loans are what most people do, right? Conventional loans aren't for everybody. If me and my team can help in any way, run this analysis, show you side by sides, we'd be more than happy to help. Go to greatmortgagebroker.com. Also, I've got something in the works. There'll be something down in the description below where I'm going to release Home Buying 101. I want people to understand how home loans work. I want people to understand how a loan estimate works. How do I choose a mortgage professional? What should I be looking for? What does all this mortgage jargon mean? I've put together a 12-step course. And in the past, it was part of a course that, was on Teachable. You had to pay for entry. I also released it to a friend who had a real estate investing course where all of this was behind a paid wall, where if you invested in that course, you got access to this Home Buyers 101. This is going to be released in some shape, form, or fashion for free, because I want everybody to have it. So look down in the comments below how you can get access to that. Not sure how I'm going to deliver it yet, but I'm going to, and I want people to have it, especially people that are interested in buying, more so if they're interested in buying and utilizing the team. So look for that. Go to greatmortgagebroker.com if you want to connect me and my team. More than happy to help. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.